AITA for not recognizing my ex-girlfriend? I saw my ex-girlfriend, 29F, in the supermarket last week. She is employed as a cashier there. I did not recognize her at all. We broke up 7 years ago and I moved away to pursue a job opportunity. She also looks very different now. I genuinely did not remember or recognize her face. She looked kind of familiar, but for some reason I just could not remember. She started talking to me, asking me how I have been, and I was like, "Sorry. Do I know you?" She got upset and said I was an asshole, and then it was awkward silence until I paid and left. Later I recalled the incident to my brother and he said it could be one of my ex-girlfriends. Then it finally triggered some memories and I realized she was my ex-GF. I deleted social media a few years back and I only have one private Instagram account that limited people can view to, so I don't keep up or stalk any of my exes. Additionally, this particular ex had gained a lot of weight since we broke up and she looked completely different from when we were dating. I saw her again this morning and told her that I wasn't purposely ignoring her but that I just didn't recognize her at first. She said she doesn't believe that as we were together for 3 years and it is impossible to forget someone you dated for 3 years. I pointed out that she looks very different now and she teared up and asked me to get lost. My brother says she made a Facebook post about me. When your ex says he didn't recognize you because you got too fat. The post got a lot of attention from her friends saying I was an asshole. I didn't want to hurt her feelings, but it turns out I did. I'm not going to approach her anymore, but I want to know AITA for not recognizing my ex-girlfriend. Edit. The face masks don't apply here because she was wearing a transparent face shield. Not the face mask. All the employees serving customers in the store were wearing face shields. I was wearing a face mask, but I have a distinctive scar near my eyebrow that makes it easy for people to recognize me. Did you accidentally insinuate that you couldn't recognize her because of her weight gain? I think she might just have some insecurities and problems she needs to work through. No matter what you said or how you said it, she would have came out upset. NTA. NTA. You never called her fat. And gaining or losing weight can really change the way someone looks. There was probably nothing you could have done or said to make the situation better after the initial incident because she is insecure about her weight gain. Best to just move on and not worry about what's happening on social media. Pre-COVID times I ran into an ex in another country. Crazy small world. And he had no clue who I was. I had lost a significant amount of weight, chopped my hair off, got tattoos. I thought it was hilarious and I gave him so much crap in a joking way. We caught up. I met his fiancée and then we parted amicably and with a funny story. Part of me expects to someday run into them again and I will 100% pretend to not recognize them. Nah. It's unfortunate and embarrassing. I feel really bad for her. It sounds like she's really sensitive about her weight gain. She's allowed to feel embarrassed and hurt over this. You don't owe her anything and even apologized. Info. How many exes do you have and how was the breakup with this one? Nah. I get why she'd be upset. But I also get having an awful memory. It was just an unfortunate misunderstanding. I laughed when I read that you were together for 3 years. I figured this was a like 2-month kind of ex. I would be pissed in her shoes if someone I dated for 3 years didn't recognize me. But also it wasn't intentional, so nah. This same thing happened to me. I work at a bar and was checking IDs once and actually carded my own ex. Clearly his name and address were on the ID. Alarm bells went off, but the damage was done. I managed a "Hi. What are you doing here?" and he snatched his ID and turned around and left. I think of it every now and again and laugh, shudder. Rolling on the floor laughing, edited to say NTA. Nah. It's not your fault you didn't recognize her. It wasn't a deliberate act. You probably could have just blamed it on a terrible memory instead of saying she looked different. But hindsight has 20/20 vision. On the other side, she's not wrong. It would have been upsetting. I realize that neither of you are ta. So nah. However, I think you should not have gone back to talk to her. The only reason you did that is to make yourself feel better and justify your actions. In the end, you only hurt her more. You're not ta, but you dated this woman for 3 bloody years. 3 years. I don't care if she's become obese. It still hurts to not be recognized. I mean, 3 years is a long time. I would say nah, but with a grain of salt. What else is she supposed to insinuate from being told how different she looks? I really think it was a bad idea to say that to her face. Sometimes people need a little gentleness instead of brutal honesty. It would have been easy to say it had just been such a long time. You were tired or something. Had something else on your mind. Whatever. That would have at least let her keep a little dignity without confirming to her face it was her. Wait. Objectively, you're not ta. A bit of tact with the situation would have helped a lot though. If you didn't say anything about her weight for her, then NTA. 7 years is a long time. Come on, dude. We all know that the correct response in those awkward situations is to say, "Oh my gosh. So good to see you. How have you been?" without knowing who the hell they are. I dunno why, but sorry. Do I know you? Has a derisive, rude quality to it. It would have been better to say, "I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly who you are," or "I can't quite place you." She probably still would have gotten upset, but it wouldn't have sounded so rude. The safest bet would have been to just go with the conversation. Like, "Oh, I've been good. How have you been?" She wouldn't have been any the wiser. I usually just briefly converse if this ever happens to me. No one ever realizes you're BSING since these interactions are quite mundane anyway. Nah. It sounds like an honest mistake, but it obviously played on her insecurities. NTA. I'm terrible about remembering people and even worse with names. I also pretend that I don't recognize people I don't like. So I can't judge someone doing it accidentally. Nah. You didn't mean to hurt her feelings. However, I can understand why she felt hurt by the situation. I would have used the classic "I find it so hard to recognize people when they have masks on" excuse. Just apologize and move on. Hopefully you won't run into her too often. I think no matter how much weight she's gained, she had every right to be upset that someone she presumably loved and expected loved her in return if they were together for 3 years didn't recognize her. Weight gain or not, surely there was something that was missing emotionally in the relationship if there was so little recognition. And I suspect that's actually what's upsetting her. She's realizing she didn't mean terribly much if she is that much of a stranger because of weight gain. He couldn't have been that enamored with her that her eyes or smile or something wasn't burnt on his brain forever. Nah. Imagine you were in her shoes. It'd likely make you feel pretty bad that someone you dated for 3 years didn't recognize you. Plus she might not feel great about her weight gain either. so that being a reason why you didn't recognize her probably didn't feel good. But like you said, it was an honest mistake. You weren't being malicious or purposely cruel. You could try apologizing again, but it might be best just to leave it alone. Mild nah. I can understand why she's upset. But I don't think you're necessarily the either. I can't say I understand not recognizing someone you were in a relationship with for 3 years. Though, even if she's gained weight. Which okay. People look different but not that different. I gained a shedload of weight myself and I've had people recognize me from years ago. I would have thought her voice would have triggered the memory as soon as she spoke. Info. When you pointed out she looked different, what exactly did you say? NTA. Similar incident, before COVID. My partner and I went out for some food in my hometown. Decided to go joke for an early night and flagged down a taxi. Current partner. Beautiful, social, intelligent man. Tried to make conversation with the taxi driver and it fell flat. Current squeeze is very chatty and will talk to anyone. As I exited the taxi, the driver pointed out who he was and I thought, OMFG. No idea. He'd changed so much. We dated for 2 years. He was my first BF and I genuinely don't think I could pick him out in a police lineup. It happens. You move on.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.